Hi everyone, and welcome to the Ableton Live Survival Guide. Today I'll be showing you a small tip that makes a huge difference. I'm going to show you how to breathe more life into your beats by giving your hi-hats more feel and space them out in the sonic field. A tip to make your beat more welcoming to vocalists. Let's hear what we're making today. Now, we've scrapped the track from hi-hats so we can make them from scratch. Let's start with creating a new MIDI channel for our hats by pressing Command-Shift-T. We'll now go to the instrument section and place a drum rack in our new channel. The drum rack allows us to play several different samples on the same channel, which is the feature we'll rely heavily on in this tutorial. The goal right now is to have our hi-hat 3 times, but in 3 different versions. So we'll place our hi-hat of choice in one of the pads. This is the first version, just simple and plain off the library. Next, we'll hold Option while dragging our hi-hat to another pad. We now have our hi-hat on 2 pads. On the new one, right-click the gray bar around the sample and press Simpler to Sampler. We'll reverse this one by pressing Reverse. If we press the key corresponding to the pad, we'll hear it in reverse. But it takes too long for the sample to be played, so let's just uncheck Snap and drag our loop end bar about halfway into the sample. We now have 2 versions of the hi-hat, one normal and one reversed. Our last version is a pitch down of the original, so let's duplicate our hi-hat once more by clicking and dragging the original while holding Option. Let's convert this one to a sampler as well. We can now pitch it by either going to the Pitch tab and transposing it, or just changing the root key of the sample. I'll scroll mine up to G3 so our sample will play 5 semitones lower than our original. Now we've got our hi-hat set up and we're ready to write some hats. I usually start with the original hat just going 8s. To add more groove, I usually have the pitch down going on all 4s. I see a lot of people giving the advice of using the arpeggiator for hi-hats, but I feel like it's holding me back from actually making unique rolls and fills with my hats. So from here, let's just make some fills and play around with it. Don't be afraid to go all out with the reversed one. It usually sounds best when used without caution. So, we're back and have our hats plotted in, and it sounds sort of okay. But the real tip for today lies in the next part. There is one audio effect, native to Ableton, which is often overlooked. I rarely see anyone using it, but I use it more than I would like to admit. It's the frequency shifter. Go ahead and drop the frequency shifter from Audio Effects on your hi-hat channel. The frequency shifter is split into 2 parts, the LFO on the left and the frequency on the right. We won't be using the frequency side, since it acts as sort of a transposer, which we aren't looking for right now. But let's play our track with our hi-hats running and try tuning the amount knob up to around 650 Hz. Right here is where your hats came alive. Suddenly they're changing in pitch and moves around in the sonic field. If we want a more drastic effect, we could change the shape of the LFO to triangle or even sawtooth and crank up the amount knob. What you might want to check out is the rate. It's possible to synchronize the effect to your song's BPM by toggling the note instead of the hertz down here. But personally, I prefer the effect to be offbeat, so no section of my beat is identical to the other. Let's hear what we've made. As an optional choice, you could make a Haas effect on the hi-hats from here. If you're not familiar with the Haas effect, it's basically splitting your signal in 2, panning them to each side and delaying one of the signals. This can easily be done by placing a simple delay from Audio Effects next to your frequency shifter. We can now toggle sync to time on both channels. Bring down one of the sides to 1 millisecond and the other maybe around 12 milliseconds. We'll then turn the wet knob all the way to 100%. Let's hear it one more time. So that's how I go about making more spacey hi-hats that makes the beat more welcoming to vocalists. Of course, this exact recipe doesn't fit every hi-hat every time, but 9 times out of 10, this is my go-to. Let me know if this worked out for you, and please like and subscribe. Bye!